As you can see here in the top right, we got our lovely scoreboard set up so it's more visible, more available to you, and currently 1-0 in the favor of compLexity, starting off today's best of 9. This is Rifkin, I'm casting with Doom Esports, and of course this is the Acer Teamstory Cup, and spawning here in the lower right corner of the map, representing compLexity, we are on the North American server. It is the STC.
And his opponent, second player for Team Liquid in this match, used to be a Terran player, now is the dominating blue Zerg, none other than TLO.
I like TLO a lot. This is kind of hard. This is a hard one for me, Doom. I mean, Hero's a nice guy. You can't help but love him, but I really like TLO. A lot of my respect for him, not just because, you know, it's easy to be a fanboy and is a nice dude, but I mean, this is one of the first guys who really started embracing swarm hosts, who started embracing the swarm, so to speak.
Yeah, I remember casting games with him in the beta, playing against a meching goodie, just going for swarm host-nitis pressure at the front, and really making it feel like it was the most imbalanced thing in the game. But TLO is definitely a straight shooter in my book. Rifkin always tells it like it is. Very honest guy, and
Can we
really
not?
one of the.
I've had enough of the straight shooter, Doom.
What?
Between you and Brent and Survivor, I can't deal with any more straight shooting.
Whatever are you talking about here?
Oh man,
TLO is one of the staples, one of the statutes of the community, one of the long-term members of it. Guy was in Korea before anyone else was out there, crushing nerds in the GSL. So I got a lot of respect for him, Rifkin.
Now, Doom, how fair do you think it would be to assess that we're going to see Biomine versus Mutiling Bling?
Let's say extremely fair, unless the STC decides to go for some type of earlier push variation, because you can do that on this map. There's that just straight lane that you take, you just rally units across the field. It'll probably include biomines in there, but
well, that's what's cool about these sort of this caliber of players, I guess. Like, on one hand, yes, you've got two top-notch players, and you're going to expect great plays out of them regardless, but it takes that player. Like, the difference between a GM and a contender for, like, something like WCS is the guy who's able to make a slightly different build, vary it up, go with something a little unorthodox, and still manage to win. And the STC is certainly capable of being that player, but so is TLO, and that's why I'm so jaded in this matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of players out there that they're going to do the same thing every game, and they're still going to beat you with that build as well, even though you know it's coming. So that's also another thing. It's just the pure skill and talent. You know, we say Muta's probably on this map because that big, long, straightforward pathway on the bottom. But, you know, Reaper openings, very common in TDZ. I think it's one of the preferred builds from most pros out there these days. But TLO is prepared with Lings.
Yeah, STC perhaps getting a little bit greedy. Trying to go for that drone instead of just backing away from the Lings and cutting them around.
He's got combat drugs. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
The drone, though, be very careful.
So something we've seen more common to this, too, behind a Reaper is always an expansion. And one thing we see a lot of players do, people used to say 6 Zerglings was a big overinvestment. Oop. Okay, First Blood bugged out. I'll fix that later. Anyways, the point is, you have 4 Zerglings to defend with. With these queens, you send 2 across the field to start chipping away at the SCV that's building the command center. This will either force Reapers to come back home, or it will get a free SCV kill and deny that expansion for quite some time. So sadly, with only 4 Lings on the field, TLO is not going to be afforded that opportunity. These Reapers will get away to see yet another day.
Did you see that micro from the STC right there?
Yeah, zipping around.
Some impressive stuff. I was really worried he was pinning himself into a corner back there, especially with the oncoming queen, but
this is a really fast third CC. You typically see a double Rax follow up, or actually he's just going straight towards the starport. So, oh gosh, this is going to be a Hellion Banshee opener. This is old school. This is old school, ladies and gentlemen.
Rifkin, you must have been watching Doom play on the ladder, because this is what I'm doing in TVZ right now. No one expects it. You can really take people off guard. And when you get those Hellions into the main base, it's basically open drone season. You go hunting when you get them in there. And I love the placement of the 3rd command center out of the range of that overlord that he knows is to the left side of the base. Not going to place in the typical position in the main, rather going to opt for it directly on the ramp, because he'll need to come up here.
Yeah, provides a bit of a wall too. The really nice thing too is, alright, he's got the 2 Reapers from earlier, so the 6 Hellion follow-up is nothing too out of the ordinary. Was thinking it was going to be Banshees, but maybe I'm mistaken. The Viking is coming out first Pult style, but we'll see if the Tech Lab starts stim. It is. Okay, so not going to be Banshees. I was thinking it would be, just due to that awkward floating of the barracks.
micro here from the STC at the front here, keeping that Reaper back once it gets damaged. He has, even though TLO is trying to spread his creep out there, oh, beautiful.
That friendly fire was so cool to watch. I wish he would have done it on the Reaper, though, because, of course, the Reaper would regen its health, but... Alright, Viking gonna start picking off the Overlord. Sadly, TLO does not have a lot in the field. This wall coming from the STC is gonna be the sturdiest wall of all time, but also, kind of at the same time, the most deadly wall of all time. These engineering bays are on the front lines, and guys, if you lose these engineering bays, but you've got 3-3 on the way or something like that, that can really cost you the game.
Yeah, and I mean, that's perhaps one caveat of this situation here for the STC, but he did a great job of denying that scout. TLO is pretty much in the dark completely. He went through the entire main base of the STC and saw nothing, so he really doesn't know what's going on here, and he's still just throwing units at this composition that's countering everything he's got.
Yeah, Spine gonna try and root itself here. This base won't go down, but only just barely will it live to see another day.
Oh, and the Lynx trying on top of these Reapers. These Reapers are paying dividends right now, Rifkin.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Viking just kind of hovering above the battle. Queen will finally go down with a nice positioning behind the mineral lines. The STC will finally get cleaned up. Gets a lot of kills on the way out, of course.
Alright.
But man, that was a little bit rough there for TLO, but he holds the hatchery, which is the really key point, guys. If he'd lost this hatchery, he'd be in a bit of trouble right now, but he's got the larva production coming from it. He's just injected with a queen. He'll be okay.
This is the opposite of what the STC wants to have happen right now. You were talking about this being a very vulnerable spot for him earlier, and it is. He recognized that by placing that bunker there directly in the middle, but I don't think he was really expecting TLO to hold him off, but I think he's probably used to killing hatcheries there and killing all the units. It's control.
Yeah, that was... I mean, the Spine Crawler was really the linchpin in TLO holding that together. If the Spine Crawler never went down, they never would have scared any of those units off. Yeah. Queens, as we saw, just irrelevant when it comes to chasing off Reapers and Hellies, but Viking's still going around the map. It's got 3 kills on it, gonna get a 4th one here, so already paid for itself and then some. This Viking, I love when Terran players do this. They skip the quick medevac in order to get this out, and we see why. It's totally worthwhile. It's cleaned up a lot of the map vision of TLO, and it's also killed 4 Overlords. That's a lot of resources.
Once again, that micro allowing him to kill that 4th Overlord. If he just stood there and started pelting at it, wouldn't have gotten it, but
yep.
Yeah, it would definitely be dead. TLO, great map awareness, seeing the fact that this 3rd command center is going to be placed off the STC, so that's going to trigger something in his brain to say, I need to make a move happen to prevent that from getting up and mining, because he would be on equal basis as TLO in this situation, and even seeing that army come out here, he knows he has to do something about it, and the baneling speed is not done yet. Baneling nest is done, but +1/+1 is still about halfway for him here, Rifkin.
Yeah, and the STC
finishing up with the STC.
Yeah, it's about to kick in. Combat Shield's not going to be available for this fight, but still he's got medevacs. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Gonna sim right on in here, sees the banelings coming in. He's gonna have to be a little bit cautious about how close he gets.
He's going for the 3rd, Rifkin.
Oh, he lifts it down, and he's gonna... Oh, he lifts up. He can go towards the main now. All the banelings are outside. And, oh, he recognizes the Stoom. Oh, man.
Could get a queen pick off here.
Yeah, but he can just pick up once again and go back down to the 3rd. This is such an annoying spot that for TLO to have to deal with. He can't undersplit his units. He has to keep them together like this.
And behind all this, the STC has 4 barracks in the main base with reactors on them. That single one with the tech lab for upgrades only, and he's just got combat shields done and completed. +2/+2 started immediately behind this as well, so STC is going into macro mode, but he's going to have to deal with mutas in a moment here, Rifkin.
Yeah, the medevacs are no longer going to have that free reign that they once did, but of course the Marines can contend with Mutilis quite nicely if there's no baneling support, but here we go, baneling's going to waddle on in and force these Marines into the medevac. Oh gosh.
Now he's got the rolling banelings, okay.
Yeah, Marine drop here, the main going to claim even more kills. And he's got, I like this, he left banelings on the low ground this time, so if the STC does start unloading, you know, he's ready to clean it up. Medevacs, of course, will have to start unload. Oh, boost actually. We'll get them out of the way for the moment, but of course, Mutilis do outrun medevacs after the boost runs out. And oh, the STC going to lose a full medevac here. Starts unloading, but is it going to be in time? Looks like no, not a lot of the Marines do get out alive.
So prior to that, the STC did not know that Mutilis was the tech choice for TLO in this game. And now he's actually being perhaps a little... Oh, he's trying to bait him into those Widow Mines, Rifkin. But TLO going to subvert everything, go for the 3rd.
He's too smart. He knows what's up. Baneling stop moving, though. What? Could have moved those into the SCVs, I feel. The STCs, SCVs.
TLO, but regardless, still is in the know now. Knows exactly what's going on. Got his 4th base up. Going to be populating that with drones soon. And these Widow Mines, man, it's just going to come down to whether or not they're able to get off effective hits. On timer right now, so you see what TLO decides to do? +1 attack weapons upgrades about to finish up here. +2, about halfway done though.
The army supply is so heavily in the favor of the STC right now. TLO really needs to get like just most supreme baneling connections off, and he is going to run right around the army like that. That control is almost AI level of insane splitting against those Marines.
Big Widow Mine hit though. STC still on 1-1 though, so he's not getting optimal attacks here. His +2 is just about finished.
Yeah. Now this is looking really good for our ex-EG player. I mean, moments ago the army supply was almost double against him, but now TLO with, again, not a massive army supply, but he's got banelings, he's got spine crawlers coming down. He'll be okay to keep holding these pushes, but simply holding the pushes is not going to be enough.
You know, the one factor here is the available larva versus just these barracks, which are going to be rallying units across the field. TLO's going to try to move in. I like that he baited those Widow Mine shots out.
The STC is so great with his Widow Mine control. That's one thing I can say about him since the first time I cast him. But Medevacs, oh, not sure how many Widow Mines are on the field are going to scare the Mutalisks off. Only one, of course, ready to rearm. Could have picked off at least 2 of these very low Medevacs. Little unfortunate there.
We may want to see some overseers here out of TLO, but he doesn't really have the gas to really just invest into that right now. And these Marines aren't going to stop ripping. It's a sea of red moving across the map.
This, he's starting to run out of banelings though. This is what's really going to hurt for TLO. He's starting to have to invest in spine crawlers. He doesn't have the gas for this. He's forced to continually invest in these static defenses, and as a Zerg player, you don't want to have to be doing this.
It's okay, there's got his 4th base up.
Oh, dude.
He's still mining gas over there.
There's no overseer though. He can never pick off these Widow Mines, what's making this really extra rough, and these Mutalisks are doing a great job. He's actually maintaining them, which is really important, guys. Like, yes, he's losing a lot of the Zerglings, spine crawlers are going down, but he's keeping the Mutalisks alive, and once he starts flocking, he's up to his critical mass, he can actually start taking on the Marines. But for the time being, as we see, he's forced to dance in and out, but oh, TLO perhaps getting a little too overzealous here, now losing a lot of Mutalisks. 4 did just go down.
Yeah, another one of the frustrating things for TLO is that he's never getting all of his units in there together. He's got to be noticing that, and big Widow Mine shots go down the Mutalisks. Nothing left. GG from TLO. STC takes down another map.
Gotta give it to TLO. He goes out with a bang in all literalness. But let's not forget, Liquid has some of the best still to come. So guys, don't go